It's been 33 years since former President Nelson Mandela was released from prison. Madiba, as he was affectionately known, went on to become the first black president of the country in 1994. He retired from politics in 1999 but remained a global advocate for peace and social justice until his death in December 2013. As the world remembers Madiba, let's bring in Sonwabile Ndamase. He's the founder and president of the South African Fashion Designers Agency, and he went on to design what is now known as the Madiba shirts. Thank you very much, Mr. Ndamase, for your time this evening. I want to find out from you how you first came to meet and work with Nelson Mandela.
Good evening to the viewers, and good evening to you as well. Meeting Madiba, it was something that was overwhelming, and at the time that I met him, it was the time that he was immediately at his 70s when he was released, and that on its own was a time of an elderly man coming out of prison. And that was a moment that one would say, I will die for. And that was a moment that I was privileged to be with him when he was released.
After his release, his surge in popularity was largely due to the fact that he didn't conform. He was a breath of fresh air in politics and authentically African, and that was evident in many of his wardrobe choices. Was it a concerted effort on the part of Madiba and yourself to design shirts that would bring those African colors and flavors into Western politics in a way that would be accepted and embraced?
It was actually, working with Madiba was a very easy project to say, although he was very an exciting person to work with, because he will always put you at ease. At this point in time, when he then asked me to design those particular shirts for him, it was something that he wanted to reach out to the men on the street. And whilst he's reaching out to the men on the street, but also making the point that he can look conservative when he goes to the boardroom and meeting the captains of the industry.
What was one of your fondest memories of working alongside him in designing those iconic shirts that are remembered so many years later and that are still a fashion item that people across the world desire?
The fondest moment that will never fade unto me is the time when then I designed a shirt for one of his colleagues, which was Lord Yehud Emmanuel, the world violinist. And then he took the shirt and he dressed the gentleman right in the public of everyone else. And that, to me, showcased that Tata, anytime, he will always surprise you with his sense of humor. And that was exactly who Tata was, and that was exactly who Tata is.
You attended an event today at Robben Island to celebrate the late former President Nelson Mandela. How was he celebrated and remembered at that event today?
At the event today, it was more memorable than anything. We will have each and every person that had an opportunity to be closer to Utata, to speak around the moments that and the things that you have learned, and what then the society could have been if Tata was still alive. And we had the cooker for Ukoli, who was cooking for Utata, and we had as well the dietetic gentleman who was looking at the kind of food that Tata had to eat on the health side. And then we had other people on the political side in the prison, and also the people at the museum, the three museums that were there, eNCA and the Nelson Mandela, and also the Robben Island as the museums. So we were all actually overwhelmed by the opportunities and the time that we have spent with Utata, and also to educate the people that were with us at the venue so that they can learn what Tata would have loved to see happening in the world today, where we are at the time in South Africa, and when we are facing all the astrotic things that are actually affecting the economy of the country. And people were giving out there and pouring their heart and saying, it is a long walk to freedom. Indeed, because not everybody has to do his or her own little thing in all he can or she can at the particular point in time.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Sonwabile Ndamase, designer of the Madiba shirts, and certainly today, 33 years ago, changed South Africa irrevocably into the country we see today.